So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K24 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our offseason rebuild series, and today it's going to be the Golden State Warriors. To be completely honest with you, I wouldn't say the Warriors have made a move so far this offseason that is big enough for them to actually get their own offseason rebuild for it, but today's video is going to be about the lack of moves that the Warriors actually have made. The departure of Klay Thompson certainly hurts. Breaking up the Splash Brothers was not a move that I think many people actually saw coming. Obviously, they ended up waiving Chris Paul. They brought in a few rotational pieces, but this team is not very good. Steph Curry is still one of the best players in the world. There's no doubt about that, but if the Warriors want to really maximize the rest of Steph's prime, I really think they need to make a big swing this offseason. That's what we're going to do here today. Of course, as always, let me know down below in the comments section any other video ideas you guys do have. I have had a few different requests to do a Warriors rebuild. I don't know if it's just their fans, in pain from their relatively not so great offseason so far, or if people just wanted to see this, but got a few requests. I'm sure you guys have many other things you want to see. Let me know it all down below. Let's get into this one. All right, so as you can see, we are still here in the offseason. We are in this spot right now because I still think there is a possibility the Warriors could make a trade this offseason, whether it's Lauri, Markkanen, somebody else who just possibly could be on the move. I think the Warriors should certainly be interested. Let's talk about this team and the way things kind of stand right now, because as I mentioned, it's not great. There's still a relatively solid young core here, but I think ultimately the Warriors are going to have to kind of move in one of two directions. Ultimately, they're going to either run with this team they have right now, probably end up in a play-in spot, maybe end up making the first round of the playoffs, but that kind of feels about what the ceiling is for this group right now. Other path is maybe they break up some of this young core, they swing for a star player like a Lauri Markkanen, and maybe they go for it, maybe one last hurrah with this core of Steph and Draymond and Kevon Looney and all those guys that have obviously been here for a while. So with the way things stand, let's get into it right now. Steph Curry, he's 36 years old. He's a 94 overall. There is a less than 0% chance, if that is physically possible, that Steph Curry is not going to be on this team the entirety of today's video. I love watching Steph. It hurt so bad watching him beat my team back in 2022. But if nothing, man, this guy has my respect. Not that he obviously needs it, but I love watching Steph, man. He's just so entertaining. Obviously one of, if not the greatest point guard in the history of basketball. Shooting guard spot, Buddy Hield. Sign and trade, technically, whatever term you want to use, with the Philadelphia 76ers that obviously landed him here in Golden State. He's 31 years old, which is actually about the sneakiest 31 years old ever. He was a four-year college player at Oklahoma, I believe, but he was 2016 draft, right? Yeah, he was. So, I don't know. He's a good three-point shooter. His fit in Philadelphia was always a little awkward for whatever reason. I think he'll fit better here in Golden State. I don't think he's quite the caliber of Klay Thompson, but even with washed-up Klay, you can, make your jokes, whatever. I don't think Buddy Hield's as good as he is. Brandon Podziemski's going to be a very interesting piece. Apparently, the Utah Jazz are very interested in him, like I'm sure many teams are if they want to go ahead and add a big player. And he's 21 years old, had a fantastic season last year in his rookie year, and he is a player that I think they want to keep. But then again, if you want to get a great player like a Lauri Markkanen, I think he's probably going to have to be one of the main pieces in that deal. Brought in DeAnthony Melton on a one-year contract. I certainly think can't hurt. I think he's a good depth piece for this team. I think there's probably not a long-term option with him here, but I certainly like it, for 1 year. Did Gary Payton get released? Gary Payton might have got released. Let me fact check that. I think he did. Lindy Waters was a trade from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Not really sure where he's going to fall on the depth chart here today, but I don't know. Guess good depth. Small forward spot. Moses Moody, another one of those young pieces that maybe could be on the move. Maybe he ends up staying here and develops, but he's only 22 years old. I do think he definitely has a decent amount of potential. I'm just not exactly sure. Oh, good update. Not exactly sure what I want to do with him here. Wiggins, who was absolutely fantastic a few years back on that 2022 championship run, really just doesn't feel like he's, what he used to be. And obviously Andrew Wiggins, former number 1 overall pick, never really emerged, the second coming of Michael Jordan or whatever the hell people were initially anticipating, kind of hoping he would be. Still a solid NBA player, obviously, because I think he's at the point in his career where he's just kind of a role player, and that's fine. It is what it is, but I don't really want to pay him that much money to be a role player for me. Jonathan Kuminga, kind of that third young piece of that trio with Moody, Podziemski, and obviously now Kuminga. Only 21 years old. I like Kuminga quite a bit. I do want to see him get more consistent playing time under Steve Kerr, because I do think he has, again, quite a bit of potential. I know I've been saying that about all three of these young players, but it's the truth. Draymond Green, still think he's one of the most impactful pieces of the Warriors dynasty that does not get the credit. Oh, good. College football updated. Does not get the credit he rightfully deserves. People look at a stat sheet and do not realize how important Draymond Green is and what he actually does for this Warriors team. He's so goddamn important. He's 34 years old here. I don't know if it'll be a long-term piece. I know I just talked about how important he is. That's real life. Here in 2K, it's not nearly as important. Kyle Anderson, I thought this was a decent signing. They took him away from the Minnesota Timberwolves 3 year, $16 million contract. Again, just a nice role piece for this team. They're adding depth to a team that certainly needs it right now, and that's fine with me. Guy Santos, 22. Not really sure what we're going to do with him here today. And then at the center spot, Kevon Looney, Trace Jackson Davis, I think are certainly both fine options. I don't know if they're long-term options. So, as I mentioned, we are still here in the offseason of the 2024. So I think one, maybe two moves are in store. I want to try to swing for the fences on a somewhat big trade, but I guess we're going to have to just see. Now, I want to just preface this before we work on a trade for Lauri Markkanen. I think it was kind of obvious about how I was discussing it quite a bit, how I think it is a realistic possibility for the Warriors, him being Lauri Markkanen. This is not a realistic rebuild. I'm going to do whatever it takes to acquire Lauri Markkanen, but this trade is probably not going to look anything like a hypothetical real one would. Just want to put that out there. All right, let's try to... Wow. Okay, well, that was way easier than I thought it was, or it was going to be. I didn't necessarily want to include Moses Moody in it, but... You know what? We get that deal done by giving up Wiggins, Moody, and Guy Santos, and now we have our new starting small forward here, and Lauri Markkanen. He's listed as a power forward. We can easily play him at the 3. But yeah, that was a lot easier than I really kind of thought it was going to be, and I'm certainly not going to be mad about that or upset about that. Ooh, I have another idea. You know what we could do? Let's actually keep Lauri at the 4, and then I'm actually going to play Kuminga at the 3. I know maybe that three-point shot at a 74 is maybe not the best for a small forward in 2024, but you know what? I can live with that. I really can. You know what? I want to get Kuminga in the starting lineup. Ooh, he goes up 3 overalls. That is fantastic. All right, let's see what else we can do. I would like to find myself a backup point guard at some point, whoever that is going to be. And then I think there's maybe one other move. Could also maybe move Podziemski to the backup 3. That's probably the plan there. And then Draymond's just going to or I can move Anderson. I'll figure this out. I checked, and as far as I can tell, Gary Payton is actually still under contract with this team. Maybe I was just thinking of somebody else. I could have sworn he got waived. I'm obviously making that up. We're doing this deal here with the Celtics. We're picking up Peyton Pritchard. Really solid backup point guard option. Obviously a guy that's known for hitting a few half-court shots, and Steph Curry is certainly known for that himself. So 26 years old, I certainly don't hate the contract, and he is definitely a viable backup point guard option for us because we were looking for one. We had nobody else besides Reese Beekman and Pat Spencer, and with all due respect, no, thank you. So Pritchard's going to be the backup here to Mr. Steph Curry. I haven't figured out exactly what I want to do at the backup 3. Right, there's an argument for both Anderson and Podziemski or Anthony Melton. I mean, it's just really who do I prefer, right? Podziemski's obviously going to play. It's whether or not I'd rather have Melton in there or Anderson. I think I actually kind of lean Melton. So I'll move Podziemski to the backup 3, and I'll see you guys at the start of your number 1. Officially ready to kick off our first season here in Golden State. We obviously kind of joined this one late into the offseason, but still were able to swing a big move, actually a couple big moves. Obviously the biggest one being adding Lauri Markkanen, who is going to be a free agent this offseason, certainly something we're going to have to keep our eye on, but I am excited to see what this team can now do, a little bit more firepower now here with this group. It is Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, Jonathan Kuminga, Lauri Markkanen, and Trace Jackson Davis. I think ultimately this starting 5 kind of makes the most sense in the long term, especially, and I say long term with air quotes, as a 3-year rebuild, but I think this is the team that fits the best together. Podziemski will be my 6th man off the bench. Draymond Green now does slide to that bench unit. I'm not sure, what Steve Kerr's plans are, if this team doesn't make a big addition like a Lauri Markkanen this offseason with that starting 5, because there's certainly an argument to get some of the younger guys, like Kuminga, like Moses Moody, like Podziemski, full-time roles in that starting 5. So they'll figure it out. DeAnthony Melton going to be my backup shooting guard here. Kevon Looney now my backup center. And then Peyton Pritchard is backing up Steph Curry at that point guard spot. So unfortunately, Kyle Anderson is just not really going to have a big role with this team right now. Of course, in real life, teams run more than 10-man rotations. But here right now in 2K, when there's no injuries on and nothing else really matters, of course, it does not mean as much. So I will see you guys at the end of year number 1 here in Golden State. I may have underestimated what a Lauri Markkanen addition does to this team. We go 57-25 here in our first season. Was not expecting that. I thought we were going to be around, 45, 47 wins, but no. 57 wins here in our first year, and as I thought we maybe weren't a serious contender, clearly our record shows that we are. It's another MVP for Nikola Jokic. It is, you can ignore this, it always happens. Russ, your 6th man of the year, he is in Denver. Wemby is your depoy. Josh Giddey, most improved. Damian Lillard, your clutch player of the year, and Steve Kerr, still hitting that same pose since like 2K16, but coach of the year nonetheless. All right, we are a 1 seed. Was not expecting that. Wasn't even expecting anything close to that. I was hoping to avoid the play-in, right? Like, I would have been happy as, you know, a 5 or a 6 seed, but no. Completely blow out our hopes, our expectations, and we were tied with the New York Knicks for the best record in basketball. So here are the numbers. Steph Curry was fantastic at age 37, 27 points, about 3.5, 4 rebounds a game, 6.5 assists. He was 52% from the field. Man, it was 45% from beyond the arc. God damn. Kuminga really emerging as our second leading scorer. I mean, him and Markkanen are basically identical, but you know, you see what happens when you get a 22-year-old into a bigger role on the team? Good things, that would be. Buddy Hield, really, really good year from him. I'm not really sure what I was expecting out of Buddy Hield, but 14 points a game as our fourth option. Certainly can live with that. Trace Jackson Davis, about 10, 11 points a game, about 10 rebounds. I'll certainly live with that. I got to stop saying that. Pajemski, Melton, Green, Pritchard, and then Kevon Looney. Rebounds, we were led by TJD, and then assists with Steph Curry. So, yeah, man, we're facing the Lakers here. Another team that hasn't done jack shit this offseason, and that's probably not for lack of trying. It's just they're in a tough spot right now. D'Lo, Reeves, Cam Reddish, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. You got Rui Hachimura, Vanderbilt here. Cam Reddish isn't on the Lakers, is he? I might be making that up. All right, what's going to happen here in the first round? Quick 2-0 lead for us, quick 3-0 lead for us, and we sweep LeBron and Anthony Davis. Okay, now moving on to the Sacramento Kings. An interesting team, to say the least. I don't know where DeMar DeRozan is. Okay, well, that's... did they trade? I don't know if they traded him. Did they trade him to Miami? Oh, my God, they definitely traded him to Miami. Okay. Don't really know why, but they did. Another 2-0 lead for us. We have yet to lose a playoff game, and we sweep through the first 2 rounds of the Western Conference playoffs. Now comes the real challenge, because as I'm sure many of you are aware, Oklahoma City Thunder are one of the biggest pains in the asses of these rebuilds. So let's just see. Are we? Okay, we finally lose a game. We're up 3-1, and just when you thought you were done with the Cavs and the Warriors in the finals, you're not. This is the 2025 version of this series. Still going on. Obviously, LeBron not here anymore. No more Kyrie Irving. But this is 2 talented teams going up against each other. So excited to see what's going to happen. I did not think this was going to be at all a... Are we serious right now? According to 2K, literally all it takes is adding Lauri Markkanen to this team. Which, again, I'm not saying that he's some sort of small addition, but really? On the verge of sweeping the Cavaliers out of their own building. Again, I am certainly going to take it. I was not expecting it, but I am very, very happy to have this be our year 1 result. So we still got 2 more years to go. That does not mean we are done with this video. Donovan Mitchell, little pull-up jump shot from 15 feet. Cannot get it to go. And now let's just see if we can have a little fun here with Steph. He's not a player I get to use in 2K too often. And I'd like to see if I can hit a 3 maybe. Curry. Oh, Markkanen the... Oh, my God. Lauri Markkanen, baby. Doing things. I don't really know what the Warriors' plan is if they don't get Lauri Markkanen, right? I think they're in a position right now where there's just probably not many players, you know, as good or just in that neighborhood of talent that are probably going to become available, you know, at this point of the offseason. So if they strike out completely with Lauri, which is obviously a complete possibility because Danny Ainge is, you know, very selfish. I don't really know, and selfish is a good thing when you're a general manager. I don't really know where they pivot to. And I hope, you know, just for Warriors fans' sake, that they don't just run this thing with where they're at, right? That's a bad shot on my part. I hope they don't run this thing, right? I don't want to waste, you know, I don't want to say one of Steph's final good years, right? But we don't know what the rest of Steph Curry's career is going to look like. And that's not me saying he's slowed down at all, because he's still very, very good. Do not get me wrong. But just where do they go, right? If this isn't the, you know, the guy. So, interested to see what's going to happen, man. We can't hit a fucking 3 with Steph Curry, and I'm getting annoyed by it, mostly because my shitty releases. Donovan Mitchell going to pull up from outer space, maybe? No, he's just wasting clock. Hey, listen, big man, I don't know if you got the clock to waste right now. Okay, thought we almost recovered there nicely. It's 5-point game. I mean, we are now officially under a minute to go, so I'm kind of feeling good. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call an ISO. I'm going to run a floppy for Steph. Let's do that. Let's have Steph Curry come off a ball screen, who Steph Curry off the ball still is very, very good. Curry, 3. Good night. I really hope this isn't your first time watching one of my videos. Well, if it is, you're getting a good lesson about how bad I am actually at 2K gameplay. Because I missed, 3 open threes with this man right here, the greatest shooter in the history of the sport? Live and you learn. But he does get his second career finals MVP, which is cool. Now what? That's a 5th ring for Steph Curry. Awesome to see. LeBron calling it a career. CP3 was somehow a Celtic. Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, Al Horford. Wow. All right, let's head into like our first full offseason, I guess. I mean, clearly, we did just win a championship. Maybe we weren't, necessarily thinking that was even a remote possibility, but it obviously happened. And oh my God, Cooper Flag and Wemby are now going to be on the same team. Steve Kerr has damn near perfect ratings. We're hanging on to him. Let's head up to the draft. See what we got in the draft pick department. We have our own pick. I'll draft somebody there. Some of these guys on the bench might not be, the longest term solutions for me. So how about a guy like Carter Knox? We can see he's around a 73 overall, one of the higher ranked prospects here. Sure, I'm not saying it's a home run pick. I just think it's what we had to work with. He's actually 71 overall. Good job, scouting department. Podziemski's certainly going to be brought back. We look at qualifying. Kuminga now entering restricted free agency. Same with him and Lauri Markkanen and Kevon Looney maybe are certainly players we want to take a look at. So no real offers for Lauri. Let's just pay him. Kuminga's going to be asking for about $27 million annually. And then Kevon Looney only for about $4 million. So bring all of them back. Now, DeAnthony Melton is going to be gone. I know we did just draft a shooting guard. I don't know if the game's going to let me bring him back, so I will keep an eye on that, but it's certainly a possibility he was kind of a one and done here, if you will. So let's just see. Is he here? Oh, he is. I could get him back if I wanted to. What is my shooting guard situation right now? Okay. I think I'm going to make a move right now because Buddy Hield was really good as like a 4th option for us. 14 points a game was fantastic, but as he is entering, it was likely going to be his final season because he won't pick up his player option. I think I'd like to have a little bit of more of a long-term solution. I think Desmond Bane would be a clear-cut upgrade in this starting 5. He'd be a very nice shooting guard next to Steph Curry, and I really want to add him to this team. He's not a player I've really traded for in a while. I'm offering up Draymond Green and Buddy Hield, both for kind of similar but also somewhat different reasons. Buddy Hield was a fine, 4th option, fit in this starting 5 very well, but ultimately probably wasn't going to pay him after this season. And then Draymond Green, I just want to say kind of fell out of the rotation on top of the fact that we're probably going to see a little bit of regression out of him. So Desmond Bane would certainly, be worth it in this possible deal. I would also be willing to throw in Carter Knox. That's all it takes. Wow. All right. Well, 2K is being nice to me today. So we have our new shooting guard. We are good at the small forward spot. I think, honestly, Anderson gets a little bit of run now that Draymond Green is gone. And then we're good at the center spot as well. So you know what? We just have to maybe go out and re-sign DeAnthony Melton unless we're maybe interested in anybody else. I don't know. Corey Kispert chilling here. I get Corey Kispert a decent amount, though. Ooh, Jaden Hardy. Ooh. 23 years old. You know what? I'll take a little flyer here on Mr. Hardy. If he wants to come in here on this team, I would certainly be okay with that. Cool. I will see you guys at the start of year 2. Last year was everything we could have possibly ever hoped for and more. We did not think we were even close to being a, real contender in a loaded Western Conference. Ultimately, we won the conference. We had the best record in the league, and then we won a championship. Insane. Just when you think the dynasty is dead, nope, they rise from the dead. Steph Curry, Desmond Bane, Jonathan Kuminga, Lauri Markkanen, Trace Jackson Davis obviously added, a new shooting guard with Bane. Wasn't really the most necessary move, but you know what? It's a rebuild. Why the hell not? Podziemski remains my 6th man off the bench. Jaden Hardy appears to be a very, very nice signing. He's up to an 80 overall. Kevon Looney remains my backup center. You got Kyle Anderson now getting some minutes here, and then Peyton Pritchard still going strong. So that's the team. I think we're more talented than we were last year, and I hope to be a contender once again. I'll see you guys at the end of year 2 here in Golden State. This time we wrap up the regular season with 60 wins. Just a fantastic second season. This rebuild has gone smooth sailing so far, and I'm loving every second of it. Luka Doncic, 37 points a game. He's your MVP. Cooper Flag and Wemby are now on the same team. He's your Rookie of the Year. Jarris Walker, your 6th man of the year. He is in Indiana. Wemby, another depoy. It's just he wins it every year. You all know this. Bones Highland, most improved with the Clippers. John Morant, your clutch player of the year. And Steve Kerr, yet another coach of the year. So, you know what, man? We are, fully ramped up with this thing, and let's just keep it rolling until it doesn't. Right? Let's just keep going until we hit the bottom of that hill. The fucking Pistons. Okay. If there's a God out there, let me meet him in the finals, please. Steph, Bane, Kuminga, Markkanen, Hardy, Podziemski, TJD, Pritchard, Anderson, and Looney. Rebounds was TJD, and assists was Steph. Round 1. It is us and the Portland Trailblazers. Young, up-and-coming team. They've kind of committed fully to this rebuild. Have established a decent core, but I think we are clearly, just a better team. They do still game 1. Okay, and game 3. We do tie it up at 2s. We go up 3-2. And a little scare there in round 1, but not enough as we move on to the second round of the Western Conference playoffs. Interesting additions here. I'm looking at 3 big ones right off the rip. Fred VanVleet, now a Pelican. Mitchell Robinson, their new center. And Rudy Gobert, also just chilling here. He's a 6th man. He's an expensive 6th man at that, but a 6th man. I'm not really sure how they added all that talent without really giving up, one of Zion or DeJounte Murray or Brandon Ingram, but they did, so good for you. We are battling here right now, up 3-2. They force Game 7. We lose! Oh, no. That's not what I wanted. Okay. Well, I mean, somebody tell skinny white Shaq over here to chill the fuck out, right? 61.5% from 3. This is Shaq with a 3-point shot, right? What is that? And he can shoot free throws. Okay. I say it all the time. Find yourself somebody who let me say this way. Find somebody who loves you as much as 2K loves the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm not saying they're not a future dynasty. I'm not saying they don't have one of the best teams in the league. Not a great young core. Sam Presti's a fucking genius. I get all of it. But please, for the love of God, I think we are overblowing how good this team is going to be completely out of the water. I think they're going to be great. I think they have a strong chance to be a 1 seed. Clearly a contender again. They're going to be for years to come. But I swear to God, 2K thinks they're the 2017 Warriors on crack. It's insane. Thunders and Cavs and... Point proven. All right, time for off-season number. Well, it's technically 3. It's our second full one here before we enter our final season. Klay Thompson, I didn't even check if Steph retired. I should have been more careful because he is certainly at the age where that is a possibility. I'm not saying it's a strong possibility, but it certainly was a possibility nonetheless. Oh, good. I could write a fucking thesis paper about how much this game loves the Thunder, and I have video evidence, literally, to back myself up. Insane. All right, staff signing time. We're still good with Kerr. I mean, disappointing to end our season last year in the second round of the Western Conference playoffs, but it's okay. I am not going to draft some... This game makes things... So, actually, you know what? I will. I will draft somebody. I'm not saying they're actually going to be on this team. We may just do what we did last year and trade them, but why the hell not? Conrad Karpukin. Carfucking. I don't really know exactly how to pronounce that name, but I'm going to take you. It's just, it's too cool of a name. Out of Duke. Surprise of the century. This guy here went to Duke, right? All right, let's see. He's a 72 overall, Mr. Carfucking. TJD and Pajemski both going to be brought back. We look at qualifying. We have none. I don't really know about any major changes to this team. Well, certainly this gentleman right here is somebody I'd like to retain as we bring him back, but I don't really know what other major moves could be made, right? I think maybe there's a possibility or maybe some consideration to upgrade our center spot, but I don't know. Is it really necessary? Let me think about it. We're going to look to make a small upgrade at our center spot. It's not really necessary, but I think it could be fun. All 3 of these players are in here right now to make the money work, and ultimately they were all probably not really going to be in the rotation anyways next year. So, how about Atlanta? We make a deal here. You don't really value Onyeka Okongwu as much as maybe you should, and I have a bunch of draft picks here, well, at least 3, that I don't really need. So, Onyeka Okongwu, welcome to the team. Wasn't a shot at TJD. I think he played fine in his role with this team, but you know what? I think he'd be a little better suited off the bench. I do need to find myself a new backup 4. That is certainly something we are on the search for, if you will. And don't love my options. DFS is fine. He's just 33. We know that regression is going to hit like crazy. I think Trey Lyles as a 10th and final man is certainly doable. So that is now the team. 1 new major addition. I will see you guys at the start of the 3rd and final season. Last season obviously did not end the way we wanted it to. All things considered, it was still a really successful year. We are building upon that season. We are hopefully locked in for one final run. Steph Curry, Desmond Bane, Jonathan Kuminga, Lauri Markkanen, and now new addition here in Onyeka Okongwu. Bench unit is absolutely loaded at least 6 through 8. But Jemski, Hardy, and TJD are all elite bench players. Trey Lyles, and then Peyton Pritchard. So I like it. I mean, again, we didn't really need to make a major change, but it is a rebuild. It's kind of boring if I just run it back. So this is where we're at. I will see you guys at the end of the final regular season. Another slight regular season improvement for us sees us finish with a record of 62-20. Of course, we are not playing for regular season success, and the Warriors typically don't do that anyways. Tyrese Halliburton, your MVP. Cameron Boozer, Rookie of the Year. Just give another young stud to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Nolan Traore, 6th Man of the Year. He is in Portland. Wemby is your D-boy. Devin Carter, Most Improved. Luka Doncic, Steve Kerr, 3rd straight Coach of the Year. All right, I think we can get a second championship. I think we clearly have the talent. We have the best record in the league, and just time to go out here and do this. One final run for Steph. I think it is time. I think we are built for it, if you will. There are the numbers all across the board. It is us in the Memphis Grizzlies. Old friend Draymond Green sitting here. Oh my God, he's down to a 75. Well, it looks like we got out of Draymond Green's contract at the right time, but still love you, Draymond. I do. All right, we are up 2-1. They tie it at 2s. We go up 3-2, close them out in 6. Certainly was not the easiest first-round matchup, and it is not getting any easier here as we have the death lineup in the front court here. Stephon Castle certainly talented himself, so not an easy second-round matchup. Quick 2-0 lead. Okay. Really? That was easier than the Grizzlies? Okay. Well, we knew, we were going to have... How is Josh Giddey back here now? Okay. He wasn't here last time when I played him, so obviously Josh Giddey decided to return to the scene of the crime, if you will. And he is back in Oklahoma City, and now we are going to go ahead and hopefully put this to bed and get another championship. Up 3-0, sweep. Good night. It is now us in the Chicago Bulls. They give the Eastern Conference Finals MVP to Halliburton anyways, but no, the Bulls, okay. Certainly one of the teams in NBA history. I'm just going to, yeah. All right, Steph Curry. That would be his third career Finals MVP, and is he ending the career on a high note? He is not. All right, well, we are ending the video on a high note, and I'm happy I did this one, right? It certainly wasn't, I don't really know how else to describe it, right? They didn't make a big move. I don't know if they're going to make a big move. If they do make a big move, I will obviously be back doing another one of these, but just in case they do. I'm pre-planning almost, right? I'm being prepared. I think that's the smart, responsible thing to do. So, yeah, man, I'm happy. Warriors fans, I hope you're happy as if you have not had enough happiness over the last decade plus, but this one was fun, and I definitely enjoyed it. Let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.